What is going on, guys? Today we're going to do a full review, head to toe, inside and out, of the new Sig Spear LT. LT stands for light, as this was supposed to be one of their lighter models, coming in at about 7.5 pounds out of the box. However, the way I have it set up right here, it's probably closer to high nines, maybe even low tens, with the suppressor, a full mag, sling, EOTech, and all that. Definitely probably closer to the low tens. However, still a phenomenal gun. I'm a big fan of this gun. Every bullet I've put through it has been an absolute joy. I got this in 7.62 by 39 just because I have a Gen 1 in 5.56, and I just want to switch it up a little bit, get a new caliber in my safe because I don't have anything that is 7.62 by 39 yet. I do now, though. So we'll start up top here. So this is not how the gun comes, obviously. I added this on afterwards, and this is the old SRD suppressor. So in order to fit this, I had to put this muzzle device on, which is not what comes with the gun. So the first couple hundred shots I took with this gun, I did use the old muzzle device because what I was hearing from a lot of people was that this wasn't suppressing the flash like they wanted it to. And if I compare this to the Gen 1 MCX flash suppressor, you'll notice that this one is about 30% longer. The baffles on it are 25 to 30% longer. So I could understand why somebody would say that. However, and I was shooting in the daylight, so this could also skew the results here. I wasn't shooting at night, but shooting in the daylight, when I slowed down my videos, I didn't see a lot of flash. Definitely a cloud and the gunpowder and the smoke from the barrel, of course. I didn't see a ton of flash like people were saying. This was kind of giving off a lot of flash and it wasn't very good. So I don't know. I don't have that gripe on this. I actually thought what they did here was really cool because this is an adapter for the SLX and SLH suppressors right out of the box. So unfortunately, I have, well, not really unfortunately, I actually really like this can, but I have the SRD can. So I had to switch this muzzle device out. But in the future, if I go to buy an SLH or X suppressor, it'll fit right onto here. Personally, I would go with the H over the X. I'll do a different video about that. I'm more into the noise than the gas. So less noise on the H, less gas on the X is basically all you need to know there. But this is the best muzzle device for that because you just thread it right on. You don't have to think twice about it. You don't have to put a different device on. The gun comes ready and adaptable for a suppressor. So I thought that was really cool. And what I think probably happened on why they shortened these is because if they were any longer, the can wouldn't fit on it properly, or they would have had to redo the cans in some way, shape, or form in order to make them fit on here. And I think they just eliminated that problem by chopping off 20 to 30% of the baffles. So I personally don't have a gripe with that. I would rather have it be adaptable for the can than have a little bit longer baffles to it. However, in my case, I just took it off altogether. So that's that. Moving down the barrel a little bit more, you'll notice compared to the Gen 2, they kind of went back to that Gen 1 style where they take off a good 2-3 inches. I like that idea. It makes it a little bit lighter. This handguard is overall a little bit lighter as well than the Gen 2 MCX. Makes it a little bit lighter, and when you go to work on the muzzle device, it is so much easier. You don't have to take the handguard off now. I basically just threw this thing in my vise, took the old one off, put the new one on, and it was that simple, in and out. A Gen 2, you got to take the handguard off, get something on there, put it back on afterwards. Again, that's not a huge problem because for the Gen 2, it's just this pin right here. You pop that out, handguard comes right off. This handguard, however, is not like that. You pop this pin out and you have a screw here and a screw here on this side as well. The reason they did that was to make the handguard a little bit more stable for people running a laser, for example, or whatever. I like it overall. It does make taking the handguard off not as easy. You actually need a tool to do so now. However, really not a big deal. I think for more stability, it's worth it. It's a little bit more stable gun. It feels a little bit more solid like that. So I kind of like that move. Handguard itself, I actually really, really like this. So I've always liked the MCX handguard personally. I know a lot of people don't like that. They think it's too bulky. I think some of those like M400 handguards that are so like thin like this, it basically just free floats around the barrel and has a gas tube in it, and that's all there is to it. I don't have very big hands. I'm only 5'8", so my hands are not very big. And I feel like on those handguards, they're just too small almost. Like my hand is almost wrapping completely around and like, I don't know. I like the handguard on these a little bit better. I like them a little bit thicker. And the way this one's designed, I'll hold it like this. See if, let me fold the stock. Hold it like this. See if you can see how that is just kind of angled down a little bit, and then it comes flat, and then it angles back in this way at like a 45. So from the bottom, it's flat, comes out at a 45, comes straight, and then comes back in at around a 45. And I really like that design. I think it feels really good in the hand. They definitely put some thought into that, and I think that was probably the best outcome they could have come up with. You also have adjustment for less gas, more gas when you're running a suppressor versus when you're not running a suppressor. Really simple to move that. On the Gen 1, they did not cut the handguard out like this, so big improvement from the Gen 1. I'll do a video later on, Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. I have access to those, so we'll do something like that later on. That'll be pretty cool. So moving down a little bit more, Magwell, pretty flared, kind of hard to miss. It's pretty flared, feels pretty good. The mag they give you, I don't know, a $2,500 gun, I feel like should come with like maybe a mag pole or a Lancer mag, something, I don't know. Not this. So, hey, that is what it is though. Not really complaining. Would have been nice to have something a little bit cooler, not just not just this. But whatever, not that big of a deal. So the Magwell is really nice. Here's one of the coolest features on this gun. So this is an ambidextrous bolt catch, bolt release. So why this is so helpful? Because at first I was like, I mean, I guess that's cool. But then as I was using it, I was like, oh, wait a second. If something goes wrong or you got to clear the gun or whatever, you don't have to take your hand off the grip here. You don't have to come down, hold it like this, whatever. You can stay up, push this up, bring the charging handle back, lock it, do whatever you got to do, drop your mag now, whatever, and then when you're ready to go again, just push that back down. I will say this takes a little bit getting used to. It's not like super smooth and quick like I thought I would be. Also, that's operator error, right? Like I missed this thing a couple times. I was like right here trying to flick it down, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to take a little practice. But the more I use it, the better I get with it, and it is pretty fun. It's just a cool new little feature. I like it a lot. I think that was pretty cool that they did that. So moving back a little bit more, so ambidextrous bolt catch, bolt release, ambidextrous safety, of course, ambidextrous charging handle, of course, ambidextrous mag release, of course, and we'll talk about the trigger here. So you do get a 2-stage trigger, not a Geisley trigger, but what they did do was you can drop a Geisley trigger into this now without getting that like specialized MCX one. We'll get into the bolt later on, but they redesigned that a little bit so any drop-in trigger will work. You don't just need the Geisley MCX trigger like I had to get for my Gen 1. Personally, I'm a Geisley trigger fan. However, this is actually a pretty nice trigger. When you compare it to the Gen 1, blows it away. You compare it to the Gen 2, it's a little bit better. Not Geisley. Obviously, you know, you get a nice gun, you spend more money on it to make it even nicer, right? It's like cars. I'll give you a couple trigger pulls on it just so you can see. Just again, make sure that's clear. So, and I'll give you a reset. So it's not, I don't know, it's first pull probably 2-3 pounds, and then the second pull probably a good 5, maybe 6. It's not that bad. I like it for now. I'll probably get a Geisley in there eventually, but for right now, it's not too bad. Charging handle compared to the Gen 1 is milestones. Gen 2, it's pretty similar. It may even be the exact same, to be honest with you. I'd have to have it next to me to really tell you, but it's nice and wide. I feel like it's kind of giving off like Radiant Raptor charging handle vibes. Not as wide, of course, not as thick, but it's got that snappiness to it. I like it. Moving back a little bit, this was new. So they added a button to this stock, and I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. I personally liked the old method of just picking this up, bringing it around. The button, it works. I mean, it's not any easier or any harder than it ever has been. I think that's just me kind of being stuck in my ways, but my wife liked the button better, that's for sure, because she can't figure this out to save her life. It's actually really cute. So there's that. Here's my only real gripe with this gun. This right here. So the Gen 1 MCX, they had those pretty cool stocks, just like these. I love the stock. Big fan of the stock. Don't like this tinsy, cheesy, kind of crappy plastic that they put on here. I feel like this should have been more of like this kind of material where it's like a better rubber or something like that. Like this is just, I don't know. I feel like they screwed up with that. I feel like they made the gun and then they're like, oh, we got to slap something on there real quick. Like it doesn't feel like it goes with the rest of the gun, because the rest of the gun is so high quality and feels so good. And then you put your cheek on this like cheesy plastic and it just, I don't know, kind of takes away some of that like high-end firearm feeling. I don't know, little personal thing here. It's not the end of the world by any means, and I'm sure you could like do your own thing with that. This definitely seems like it would come off pretty easily. I don't know how much they may have glued it on there or not, but just looking at it, it looks like it's kind of just like stuck onto there. Like they basically put the plastic and then slapped it onto there. Could be wrong on that manufacturing. I'm not a SIG employee, so I don't know how exactly they put it on there, but that's what it looks like. However, the rest of the stock, I love these stocks, these skeletonized stocks. Big fan of these. The Gen 1 MCX, what they did was it came out, bumped up a little bit, came back down, and then this wasn't as flat here. This kind of came out like this way a little bit more, and this was maybe a little bit thicker. So it kind of ran like this down. I love that stock. I have another one of those as well. I'm not going to put it on here just because the all black stock I don't think would look as good with the actual kind of tan color of the gun. I believe it's like Arizona something is the actual name of this color. If you've heard me talk on this channel before, you know that I personally prefer an all black gun. However, if you're not going to give me a black gun, this is probably the next best thing. This color I'm actually not mad about. I didn't really like the gray on the Gen 2, but this color is actually pretty sweet. And I was thinking maybe I'll just like Cerakote it black or whatever, do something to it. But I think I'm going to leave it. I like how they made all black, basically attachments for it. I mean, the charging handle's black, the mount for the stock is black, the safety's black, the bolt catch, bolt release is black, dust cover's black. Everything else that they put to it was black, and I told myself I'm only going to buy black attachments for it. So I actually think it goes well with the gun, because, listen, you're not just buying it because it goes boom, you're buying it because it looks cool too. And I think it looks pretty cool. So I'm going to end up keeping it that way. Stock. I want to talk a little bit more about this. I had a pretty good conversation with somebody over at SIG the other day about these stocks, and he asked me, he's like, how do you like that? Personally, I love them. You've heard me talk about them, kind of rave about them before on this channel. I like how well it fits right there. He said, I like it too when I'm wearing some sort of gear, some sort of armor, because he was saying it kind of digs in a little bit, and I mean, he's not wrong. Like, it does kind of dig in, and if you're shooting for a long time, I'll have a bruise right there sometimes at the end of the day. I just still prefer that over a big, thicker stock that doesn't necessarily fit as comfortably. This feels really good. Even if you have like a vest on or something, it still feels really good. I don't know. I don't see why people dislike it, but if you don't, hey, that's there's plenty of stock options out there for you. What else do we have here on the outside before we open it up? I think that about covers it. Yeah, that about covers it. So let's open it up now and talk about the internals. So, pretty standard MCX. You got your recoil springs up top here. They did this for the Gen 2 as well, where this comes up. So if you want to go take this out, if you want to take your bolt out, it's much easier to get to your cam pin here versus on the Gen 1. Gen 1, you had to take the recoil springs out. I have a whole video of a disassembly Gen 1 versus Gen 2 on the channel as well, so I'm not going to go too crazy into that. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but this is basically what they did in order to allow you to throw the Geisley trigger in there versus having to get like a special MCX model. I'll show you from the side too. So they just kind of put this little piece in there. I'm not going to do the best at describing it because I don't really know how to describe that. It basically just guides the hammer of the trigger right onto the firing pin instead of having a nice open spot there where you would maybe need a larger hammer or whatever. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I'm not the guy to really ask about that. I just know that that's what they did in order to make it work, and we'll see how it works because I do eventually plan on putting a Geisley trigger in this. So when I do, I'll do a little video of not only the install, but just overall how it shoots, how it functions, and all that. Wipe my hands off before I touch this again. So other than that, I don't really know what else to tell you. It's a pretty sweet gun, and I would definitely highly recommend it. I like the MCX product line. I like the rattlers. I like the cane brakes. I like all those. We'll deal with this after. I like all the MCX product lines. I like the piston-driven system. I do like to run a suppressor on most of the time I'm shooting. Every once in a while, I'll take it off. Does it add a little bit of weight to the gun? Yes, of course. Is it front weight? Yes, of course. However, I still like it. It's more fun to shoot with a suppressor it's obviously not silent. You still have the sound barrier breaking, so you still get that snap. When you're shooting the Rattler in 300 Blackout suppressed, that is pretty silent. That you really just hear the bolt smashing back and forth. I have a video on my channel of that as well, of 300 Blackout supers versus subsonics. Like I said, I got this in 7.62 by 39. So let me compare it to a 5.56 round for you. So this is 123 grain, 7.62 by 39. This is 65 grain, 5.56. So you can see this is about double the size. So the grain is also just this part, the projectile. That's what it's talking about when it says grain. So you could get a 55 grain, 5.56, and this would be more than double the size by 3. So packs a little bit more of a punch. Doesn't have the same velocity as a 5.56 round, but packs a little bit more of a punch on impact. So that's it. That's the Sig Spear LT, and follow the channel for plenty more videos of this to come. Probably do some more tomorrow. I'm going to be shooting tomorrow with a couple friends. Suppressor will be on, of course, so we'll tell you how it runs suppressed. Right now, unsuppressed, I can tell you it runs pretty good. I imagine it's going to run great suppressed as well. Probably even better. It's kind of made to be suppressed. So yeah, thank you for watching. Appreciate you supporting the channel, and stay tuned for more.